Hey everyone, and welcome to this video. I'm Laura123 and this is going to be my August reading wrap up video. So yeah, in this video I'm going to tell you about the books that I read in the month of August, tell you a bit about each book, tell you if I liked it or not, like my views, opinions, etc. And of course the rating out of 5 that I give each book. Also coming up, we have my TBR games, which I love doing. They're so much fun. So you can see what books get selected from the various games, including the spin the wheel game and the TBR Roulette and more. Also, I'll be telling you about my current read. So yeah, just sit back, relax, and to my fellow bookworm buddies out there, yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I have my laptop here and I'm just going to read my notes and stuff. I'm going to try not to ramble too much because I do have a tendency to ramble, so I'm sorry in advance if I do, but I'm going to try my best not to. So in August I read 19 books. However, out of those I did DNF 4 of those, which I will explain what books they were and why I DNF'd as we go along. So the first book I read in the month of August was a middle grade book called The Battle of Cable Street, and that was by Tanya Landman. So even though this book is middle grade officially, I think anyone of any age can read this book. I mean, I'm 43, I loved it, and you know, it was good for kids, it was good for adults. Like, it's just a really good book. So this is a fiction, but it is based on true events which happened in London's Stepney in the 1930s. So this book tells of the rise of anti-Semitic fascist Oswald Mosley and his black shirts, who stir up trouble between families who have lived amongst each other for years, you know, quite happily getting on with each other. The main characters are brother and sister called Elsie and Mikey, who I loved both of the main characters. They attend a rally and see how dangerous things become. They join other people who will stand and fight against hate, and it becomes the dramatic Battle of Cable Street. So this book for me was really emotional. It was interesting and it made me angry, it made me sad, and it was just really well wrote. And as I say, it could be for anyone of any age. So I really recommend it. It's really good and I gave it 5 stars. So the next 2 books I read, I'm not going to say too much about because they are part of a series and I don't want to give you any spoilers if you haven't read number 1. So by Marie Lu, I read The Rose Society and also The Midnight Star, which are part of the Young Elites trilogy. If you like your YA fantasy dystopian kind of vibe books, check it out. Marie Lu is just absolutely amazing. So yeah, this series has magic. There's 3 rival societies who like battle for power. There's so much going on. It's a really good series overall. Book 1 I gave 5 stars to. The Rose Society I give 5 stars to because I also love that. But sadly, the last book for me, which was Midnight Star, it's not like I hated it or anything. I just didn't enjoy it as much as the other 2. And if I'm being truly honest, I didn't think it needed to have like a trilogy. It would have been cool as just a duology. Like we could have had, you know, things tied up in just 2 books instead of dragging it onto a third. Yeah, but overall as a series, I would give it a 5. But yeah, it was really good. So if you like all that kind of, you know, vibe, check out the Young Elite series. So next up, I read Only on the Weekends by Dean Atta. This is a YA LGBTQI+ themed book. I'm really upset about this one because I wanted to love it because I absolutely love The Black Flamingo by the same author, but I just didn't enjoy this book at all. So much so I just DNF'd it. I don't think I'd got halfway through, nearly halfway, and then I was like, no, I can't go through with this book anymore. So I stopped reading it. So this is about a 15-year-old character called Mac, and his father takes on a new directing project in Scotland. He's like a film, you know, director, and he has to move away to Scotland, obviously, with his dad. And while he's there, he meets this actor called Finlay, and there's a bit of a romance with him. He's also already got like a boyfriend back home who, for me, like, they just didn't feel like a couple. Like, they were set out to be this couple, but they just didn't, like, it didn't feel right. Like, they didn't connect to me. But anyway, there's a bit of cheating going on, which I didn't like. And as I said, I didn't like the main character. I didn't like any of the characters. Yeah, I couldn't carry on with it. So yeah, I only gave it 1 star, and I'm really disappointed because, as I say, I absolutely love The Black Flamingo. Next book I read was a thriller called The Anniversary by Laura Marshall. My favourite book from Laura Marshall has to be Friend Request. If you like your thrillers, especially thrillers involving social media, check it out. It was honestly one of the best thrillers that I've ever read. I loved it. It was so good. But this one, meh. A bit meh. So basically, 25 years ago, a local man raged through the small town of Harstead, shooting 11 people dead at random. Or was it random? You have to read to find out. So Cassie Coleman's the main character, and her father was the last victim to be killed. And so she obviously grew up without a dad. And so now she's had to go back to her hometown because her mother has developed dementia, and she's gone back to be with her and look after her and stuff. And then there's like discoveries made amongst her mother's possessions. And yeah, basically there's an investigation on what happened with all the murders and stuff. There's a journalist who's kind of after, you know, answers of what happened. And yeah, there's lots of twists and turns in this book, I will say that. However, I did find this book very, I don't know, very, what's the word? Predictable, positive. I know that could be predictable just because I read so many thrillers. I know what I'm looking for. And yes, there were twists and turns, but I kind of saw those coming as well. The thing that did shock me actually was that the main character, Cassie, I assumed, you know, she'd be a lovely lady and stuff, but she was horrible. Like, she was a proper nasty character. Some of the things that she was saying and things that she was thinking were awful, especially about her child and stuff. They're really quite hard to read actually. But yeah, it was okay. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad. I would give it 2.5 stars, maybe something like that, 3. I would definitely read Laura Marshall again because I do think she's a great author, and I've enjoyed her other books, but this one just a bit predictable, I'm afraid. But as I say, it could be just because I read so many thrillers. I don't know. Next book I read, I'm actually quite shocked that I actually read, get this, a non-fiction. Okay, so if you're a regular viewer, you'll know that I only read fiction books. I like the escapism, you know, I like kind of getting out of my reality and just kind of getting into this, you know, fiction story. But I really wanted to read some non-fiction books this year to kind of, you know, learn and, you know, not to have fiction all the time, basically, just to have non-fiction. So this one was a book that I'd wanted to read for a long time, and I finally did. It's by David Baddiel, who, if you're not in the UK, he is a writer, he is a comedian. He's just a very intelligent but very funny man as well. Like, he's just, I mean, I've always been a big fan of David Baddiel and stuff. That, you know, Baddiel and Skinner, I love that kind of humour that they had together. Anyway, this book is called Jews Don't Count. And I really wanted to read this one because not only am I Jewish, obviously, by the way, you don't have to be Jewish to read this book, but, you know, for me as a Jew, I did want to read this book, but I also kind of just wanted to learn from it and learn what he had to say. So this book, really thought-provoking, very interesting. It deals with anti-Semitism over the years and kind of current day, from a political stance, media, etc. And parts of this book made me feel really angry. Like, when I was reading it, I could feel myself boiling up. I was so angry reading about horrible anti-Semitic stuff that is said and done in the past and in present day. It also obviously made me very upset, and yeah, my emotions were quite roller coaster with this book. But it also made me, at the very end, it made me feel really proud to be Jewish and really proud to be someone who stands up, obviously, against anti-Semitism. And the way David wrote this book, it was only a short book, but it really got in here and in here. Like, it was just amazing. So yeah, really, really good book. And I gave it a 5 stars. And I would definitely read, because I know he's done some other books as well. So I'd definitely read some more of his stuff. So yeah, the next book I read was just a quick little graphic novel from the library called Swamp Thing by Maggie Stifater. So this was just a quick read about 2 twin brothers. One is completely literally obsessed with all things plant related, and he does lots of like experiments on the plants and stuff. His dad cheats on his mum, and then basically they go off to live somewhere else, and the plant goes with this plant that he's been like looking after and experimenting on goes with them. And then, I won't give you any spoilers, but let's just say this plant isn't good. It goes a bit rogue. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird, strange little book, but it kind of worked, and I really like the artwork in it as well. It's really cool. So yeah, Swamp Thing. Yeah, it was all right. It was good. I'll give it 4 stars. Next, I read Complicit by Winnie M Lee. Started off really liking this book. Went downhill the more I went on. It was quite a big, chunky hardback as well. So after a long buried harrowing incident, a woman whose promising film career was derailed has an opportunity for revenge in this timely thriller about power, privilege and justice. So Sarah's the main character, and she kind of recounts the industry as like dark secrets and sordid secrets and stuff. And like at the beginning, as I say, I really liked her character, but the more I read about her and what she was doing, I found myself getting really irritated and annoyed with her because she made such stupid choices, such stupid decisions. Her ego went, you know, sky high, and the things that she saw that were happening, she didn't say anything about, and just, I don't know, I just didn't like her. Which is a big thing for me as a reader. I keep saying it, but it really is. Like, if I don't like the character, if I don't connect with them, or if I'm not find them interesting kind of thing, I just can't enjoy the book. So yeah, I mean, it started off okay and then just went downhill. I'd give it a 2.5 because I did enjoy the beginning part of it, and also like the fact that obviously it's bringing awareness of the whole #MeToo movement and things like that. So that is a good thing. But next, I read, oh God, do I have to with this? Fluffy, a really small little graphic novel I got from the library. This was really bizarre. This was really weird. You know, I remember seeing it on the bookshelves and was like, oh, that looks really cute. I should have walked away. It was about, right, a baby, okay, this is weird, a baby rabbit who thinks he's adopted by this man, and this man has really bad anxiety, and basically every other page is this rabbit obsessed with this guy. Will you be my daddy? Will you be my daddy? It's all really weird. Like, I don't know if this rabbit was real or if it was just like something in this guy's head, or if it was just a real rabbit. I don't know. I got to the end and I still couldn't blooming work it out. So it was just weird. I'm sorry, but I 1-starred that. Yeah. The next one was The It Girl by Ruth Ware. Oh, I'm so sad. I love Ruth Ware. I've read every book that she's done. I would have to say she's one of my favourite authors. But this one, oh my days. I literally felt like I'd read this story before. I'd met these characters before in different books, right? It was so samey. It was so predictable. It wasn't necessarily bad, and I still think Ruth Ware is a very talented, amazing author. But this book, it just didn't do it for me. So it's set in Oxford, and it's a thriller. You know, I love a thriller. Thriller mystery following a woman on the search for answers a decade after her friend's murder. So I didn't like the main characters. You know, I didn't like any of the characters, actually, in this story. I thought they were very vain. They were very rich and kind of privileged and arrogant and just not likable in the slightest. There was lots of, like, there was no loyalty between this group of friends, you know, and for me, the story was very, very predictable. Once again, I keep saying predictable, but it really was. Oh, it's the phone, sorry about that. But yeah, it was just really predictable, and I don't know, like, this guy had been charged for the murder of her friend. He'd gone to prison. I don't want to give any spoilers, but anyway, he was always saying that he didn't do it. He was always stating that he was innocent, and yeah, you kind of get to find out if he was innocent or not. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you like mystery thriller kind of books, then you probably would like this. But for me, I've read so many books so similar to this, and it was so big as well. It kind of dragged. It was too big. So yeah, 3 stars, but that is being generous because I love Ruth Ware. Now the next one is an audiobook. I have Audible. I love Audible. I have 1 credit that I pay for, so 1 book a month that I pay for. The rest I listen to free on their Plus catalogue, which is great. So you get some really good free ones. And this actual book that I'm going to tell you about now is called Seatmate by Karaba, and it was a free one from the Plus catalogue. So it was about a 5-hour long audio, so it wasn't too long. And there's about, I think there's 4 or 5 others that I've downloaded from the same author, and they're all kind of like similar timing and stuff, very similar story, like funny, romance, contemporary fiction kind of vibe. So yeah, I've downloaded a few more, and at some point I will listen to those. They're great to have like on my library ready to listen to. But I absolutely love this. I can honestly say, of all the audiobooks I've ever listened to, it's a big thing coming up now, this was my favourite ever. I would actually listen to this again at some point because I loved it so much. I felt like I was in it. The voice actors who did this were amazing. The girl and the guy, like, they were just brilliant. It didn't sound like they were reading from a script or anything. It sounded real, like they were just naturally flowing their conversation and just everything. The sound effects as well going on in the story were brilliant. It was absolutely, if I said it's brilliant enough, but no, it really was brilliant. So it's set on a bus from Boston to New York. These 2 main characters, Gwen and Sam, I love them both equally. They get to know each other on this trip. They're complete strangers, by the way, and they just get on this bus. They end up sitting near a toilet, which was gross, and they just kind of, you know, start chatting and picking up conversation, talking about their lives and stuff. And obviously then a little bit of flirting happens, and the connection, you literally see it from scratch, this connection and this bond forming, which I loved. And I really enjoyed this book. And there's a bit of a detour as well that goes on. Something happens with a bus and they end up getting in a car and blah, 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 blah. It's just brilliant. It's so realistic. It's so fantastic. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. So next up, don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. I had a graphic novel from the library, and it's the Bible. Yes, graphic novel of the Bible. Normally when you think of graphic novels, right, you think of superheroes, manga, that kind of stuff. No, I read one about the Bible. So basically these were little Bible stories condensed into a graphic novel format. And it was really retro, old kind of style. I think it was made like in the 70s, this book or something. But it was so good. Like, I really enjoyed it. And I wished it had kind of gone on longer. All these stories are from the Old Testament. So obviously as a Jew, I'm quite happy to read those. But it was brilliant. The artwork was good. The stories, obviously, like, I just really enjoyed it. It's a bit of an odd book. It was massive. It was like really big, but I loved it. So I give it 4 stars. And the only reason I didn't give it 5 is because I wanted there to be more. It needed to be thicker. It's only a thin little, anyway. Now the next book I actually have here next to me, and it's Twin Crowns by Katherine Doyle and Katherine Webber. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. I love this book so freaking much. This will definitely be my top 10 of the year, without a doubt. In possibly top 5. So yeah, Twin Crowns, Katherine Doyle, Katherine Webber, you are legends. I love this so much. 1 throne, 2 princesses. The thing here is the story about this book. I'll keep it short. I had a copy from the library of this book, and I started to read it, and I was just falling in love with it. And I was like, oh my god, I don't want to have to take it back to the library, because that means I won't have this book in my house anymore. I got really sad about it. It's a true story. So I went to Waterstones and bought my own copy, which is here. So this is mine, and I can keep it. Yeah, I've never done that before. Normally, if I've read a book from the library, even one that I've really, really loved, you know, that's it. I'll take it back, give it a 5 star, boom. This one, I could not do that too. So yeah, it's a lovely map and everything. I love the cover. I love everything about it. So yeah, it's first in the series. Number 2, I think comes out next year, hopefully. So YA fantasy, witches, magic, family, romance, adventure. 2 sisters separated at birth, raised into, you know, entirely different worlds, are about to get to know each other's lives a whole lot better. But as Coronation Day looms closer, they each strive to claim their birthright. So both of the girls were different, but also similar, if that makes sense. Probably not. I love both of them, but I did prefer Ren. I thought Ren was just a little bit more sassy, had a bit more chutzpah, as we say. She was, you know, she'd been for a lot more, I think. But then I also felt sorry for the other girl, because, who I can't remember her name. What's her name? Rose. Yeah, Princess Rose. Because, like, yes, she's had this privileged life. She's been the princess. Everything was done for her, and she's, you know, waited on. But she's been really lonely, and she doesn't get to experience anything and be around people and do her own stuff, and she's bored. And so, you know, it's kind of... But anyway, I loved it so much. I can't wait for number 2. If you're into YA fantasy, honestly, the story is great. The world building is great. The characters are great. It's got everything I needed in a book, and I love it. I love it. Next book I read, also loved, actually, Drama by Raina Telgemeier. This was a graphic novel about a school play. So all the drama that goes on stage and behind the scenes. I love the main character. Her name was Callie, and you see her little, you know, her little romances, her friendships. Obviously she's working on the school play, and she's kind of getting stressed, and it's just brilliant. There's so much, literally, drama going on in this. The artwork in this graphic novel was gorgeous as well. Really love the artwork. So cute, sweet, funny, lovely, adorable, theatrical, wonderful. 5 stars. So next book I read was a book that was selected from one of my TBR games last month. So it's called Your House Will Pay by Steph. This was a really powerful story about racial tensions that happened in LA. Two very different families are connected due to the 90s riots that happened. Over the decades, they're kind of, you know, connected. This was a very hard-hitting book to read, and it was thought-provoking. It was powerful, and it deals with racism, but it also deals with family and culture. So you've got African American and you've also got Korean American in this book, so you get to learn about their cultures, their families, obviously how they deal with the hate that they both face. And it was just really, really good. The only reason why so I give it 3.5 stars. The only reason why I didn't give it 5 or 4 is because I just found it very predictable. I kind of got halfway and thought, I see what's going to happen here. And I'm not giving spoilers or anything, but something quite bad happens, and I was like, that's going to be that person, and that's why they did that. And then it's very kind of obvious, but even so, it's so well wrote, and it just, it's really good. It's really good. I'm really happy actually that come out as one of my TBR games selections. The next book I read, I didn't like, nor the next 2 I didn't like, and I did DNF them. So the first one was The Agathas by Kathleen Glasgow and Liz Lawson, a YA thriller about this really beautiful, popular girl. She's murdered, and Alice and her new tutor Iris, who are the same age, by the way, they basically try and solve this crime. Who killed her? I think who's it? Alice's ex-boyfriend is in the frame for it, but she doesn't believe he's done it. So she's a massive fan of Agatha Christie books, so she uses her books to kind of give us some crime-solving tips. You know, on paper, it sounds 100% my cup of tea, but I tell you the reason why I DNF'd it, and the reason why I DNF'd it is because I just didn't like the characters. The 2 main characters, I just couldn't stand them. There was nothing likable about them. They were miserable, they were moody, they were arrogant, they were just, I don't know, I just didn't like them at all. At all. So the more I was reading, I was thinking, I don't really care what happened about the murder and who killed her, and I didn't care. So I did DNF that one. 1 star, which I probably think is a bit mean, because it wasn't awful, it just wasn't for me. But there we go. If I'm going to DNF a book and I'm not going to like the characters and I'm not interested in the story, then it's got to be a 1 star from me. I'm quite a harsh judge. And the next one I didn't like, which was a real shock for me and a disappointment, was Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I, like everyone else, fell in love with The Love Hypothesis. It was such a hyped up book, and I was worried I'd hate it, and that it wouldn't live up to the hype. But I tell you now, it did. It was an amazing book. And so, of course, when I heard that Ali Hazelwood's got a new book out, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. I pre-ordered it. I literally read it. I started reading it the day I picked it up because I was so desperate to start it. I just found it so disappointing, so boring that I did DNF it. It wasn't as good, and I know you shouldn't compare books, but I did, and I compared it, and it just felt like it was a similar kind of like enemies to lovers thing, which I know it's a trope that, you know, has been done so many times, but this felt so obvious what was going to happen, why he was being horrible, and it was so predictable. So the main character, B, she lives by this simple code. What would Marie Curie do if NASA offered her the lead on a neuroengineering project? So, yeah, I mean, it just went above my head. It was all to do with like NASA. They were creating this space suit helmet thing. I don't even know. It went above my head with the whole spacey NASA-y stuff, right? And then there's Levi, and then they were at like grad school together, and he was always like nasty to her, putting her down and stuff like that. So they've had that kind of enemies thing. She hates him. She's grown up, you know, hating him, and then they have to work together, and it's so obvious. Like, it's just so obvious what's going to happen. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't find it that funny. So I just didn't. I skipped to the end just to see what would happen, but like, I just meh. It was meh. And I'm kind of worried now that other Ali Hazelwood books are going to be similar. Like, they're going to be are they going to be really predictable? You know, was The Love Hypothesis just a kind of one-off runaway success, or is she, you know, she got more to come that I will enjoy? I don't know. Would I read her again? Possibly. I'm not sure. I'm honestly, if you want me to be honest, I'm not sure, but we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, only 2 stars for that, and that was being generous, to be honest. Next book I read creeped me out. It was so creepy. Now, I knew it was going to be a bit dark, and I knew it was going to be a bit creepy, so it's kind of my own fault. So it was Our Crooked Hearts by Melissa Albert. This book, by the way, would be perfect for Halloween. If you're looking for a dark, scary, weird book, creepy vibes, check it out for Halloween. I didn't hate this book, but I hated what it become, if that makes sense. So basically, this book is about mother and daughter, and they both have kind of, the mother obviously first, and then you know, decades later, the daughter get involved with this magic, with this witchcraft. It all kind of ties in together. I like that thing. I like that witchy thing. That was fun, the witchy thing. But what I didn't like is when they start talking about animal sacrifice. There was this rabbit, and I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to trigger myself again or you. But there was this rabbit, and let's just say it was sacrificed. Now, I'm a vegetarian. I have been for many, 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 many years, since I was a teenager. And also, you know, I don't like any form of animal cruelty, right? So for me, I was like reading this book and I was like, oh, this is really creepy. You know, there's this girl in the lake and it's all like, oh, spooky. And then they're starting talking about doing horrible things to this rabbit. And I was like, oh my God, okay. And then there was more scenes in the book where they were also doing sacrifice, or there was things, body parts left. Anyway, it was just too much. It was too triggering for me with the animal thing. So I did have to stop reading that, which as I say, if they wouldn't have put that bit in, I'd have loved it. I'd have loved the book because I love the witchy stuff and the whole mother and daughter being connected via witchcraft. But anyway, I couldn't carry on with it because it was just too, I feel sick. Yes, only 2 stars. Poor bunny. And the last book I read of the month, which I'm going to end on a high, is the lovely, amazing, my favourite author. Well, one of my top 5 favourite authors, Taylor Jenkins Reid. So this one was called One True Love. And have I got it out? No. Okay. So this book, I read it in a day, and that's not normal for me. Normally it takes me a couple of days. I am a fast reader, but like I'm normally like 2-3 days roughly kind of thing as paperback. If they're big chunky hardbacks, whatever, obviously a bit longer. But like, it's been a long time since I've actually read a fiction in a day, because it's like the normal size book, you know, not a thin book or anything, normal size fiction. Anyway, I couldn't stop reading it. I couldn't put it down. I couldn't focus on anything else but this book because I just loved it so much. So yeah, Taylor Jenkins Reid, as I say, such an amazing author. The way she writes, the way she brings her characters to life, the way she makes you connect with the characters and really feel what they're going through. And it's such a talent. I'd love to write like that. So yeah, this story is about a woman called Emma. She was married to a childhood sweetheart named Jessie. And basically they get married, everything's great, they travel the world, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes on this trip, and there's an accident. I don't want to give too many things away. There's an accident, and basically he's presumed dead. Okay, so there's some other people found that their bodies have been, you know, recovered, but they can't find his body, but they assume that he's dead. So she's basically heartbroken, Emma, and she goes into like full-on grief mode, which you would. And eventually with the help of her family and stuff, she moves on. She kind of changes her lifestyle completely. Instead of the whole traveling thing, she starts just staying at home, settling. She ends up working for the bookshop that her parents own, and just kind of develops a new life. And you know, even though she obviously is devastated still about losing the love of her life, she's kind of learnt to move on and be herself again in a different way. And then she reconnects with one of her friends from school, who she also used to know from working in the bookshop with her, called Sam. They start a relationship, and then they get engaged. And then guess what happens? Jessie rings up out of the blue and says, I'm alive. So now she's got a husband. She's got a fiance. She loves both of them. What does she do? This book was so good. I keep saying it, but it really was so good. And I kind of put myself in that situation as I was reading it and thought, God, what would you do? Like, the love of your life, who you've not fell out with, you're not had a row, you haven't just broke up, he's literally presumed dead. And then you kind of find happiness, you know, luckily you find happiness and love again with someone else. And this one comes back. Like, what do you do? Like, it's just such a predicament to be in. Anyway, so there were some things that she did, some choices that she made, which I weren't particularly happy about. But I let it slide because I did like her character. But anyway, I will say this book, I've done a buddy read with the lovely Papa Apple 93. Check out her YouTube channel. She's lovely. She does book videos. She does grocery hauls, that kind of stuff. She's always been so supportive to me and my channels, and I really appreciate her. But we've done like a buddy read, and we're going to do a collab involving this book. So we've both, you know, read it, and we're going to do videos where we review it and talk about it in more detail. So I filmed my part today. There was spoilers in it, so you know, look out for that if you don't like spoilers. But yeah, it was a really good book. It's so good. I loved it. So I gave that a 5 stars. And the ending, like, oh my God, I was tearing up at the ending. Anyway, not saying any more about it. But yeah, 5 stars for that. So the big question is, what is the book of the month for me? Do you know what? I'm happy to say it's a hard choice because I had a lot of 4 or 5 stars. Like I really had a few 5 stars that I adored. I love the audiobook of Seatmate. I love drama. There was just so many that I really enjoyed this month. And it's weird because for the last few months with my reading wrap-up videos, I kind of reflect on what I've read that previous month and I'm like, yeah, I didn't like that one, didn't like that one, didn't like. So this month it's been really refreshing to say, you know what, I've really enjoyed a lot of books in August, and that's the way it should hopefully carry on now from now. So book of the month, it was a tricky one, but I have decided to go with Twin Crowns, and that is because I have never read a book from the library and had to go and buy my own copy. So I must have liked it. I can't wait to carry on with the series and, you know, get to know what happens and just, I love it. So yeah, this is my book of the month, Twin Crowns, but it was very close with a few of the others. Okie dokie. So now you are going to see my TBR games. Okay, so enjoy those. Find out what books get selected. And then after that, you can come back to me here and I will be talking about the books that I'm currently reading and listening to as well. So yeah, it's TBR game time. Okay, so now it is time for my TBR game. Let's spin the wheel. Okay, what will the wheel choose for me? On the count of 3, I'm going to press the button. Okay. 1, 2, 2.5, 3. Spin that wheel. What is it going to be? What's it going to be? It is landed on blue, which says a book from the spare room. So I've got a bookcase in the spare room and I can pick any book I want from that bookcase. So that's pretty cool. A lot of those books are quite old, so it'd be a good way of getting one of those read. So, yeah. Okay, so this is the book that I've chosen for my Spin the Wheel game selection. I had to choose a book from the spare room bookcase, and I've chosen this one by Kerris Stainton, and it is called Jessie Hart's NYC. So I got this book ages ago in a charity shop for like 50p or something. I love the cover, and it just sounds really fun and romantic and cute. So I think this is going to be great for my selection. So yeah. Okay, so now it's time for another fun TBR game. We never have an official name for this one, do we?
The TBR tins.
TBR tins. It's cool.
Technically, they're tins.
They look like you'd get Chinese takeaway in them, but they're not. And for some odd reason, there are dog stickers, and that's nothing to do with books.
No, they're just cute.
But they're cute. So, would you like to explain, sir, how this works?
We've got 4 tins here.
We have.
Each one is labelled up with a genre.
Thriller mystery, general fiction, fantasy, sci-fi, horror, and series.
They've also got numbers above them. That's got 2, 3, and 4. That's got 5, 6, and 7. That's got 8, 9, and 10. That's got 11 and 12.
Indeed.
They correspond to dice rolls.
I have some dice.
I
have some dice.
Yeah. So you're going to roll those dice.
I am.
Whatever number it lands on, we're going to pick the corresponding tin.
And what's in the tin?
Bits of paper with books on.
Book titles, yeah.
I'm going to pick one out of said tin, and then you have to read it.
And I will quickly say, as a disclaimer, with the series, I haven't got to read the whole series.
You just got to
read book 1 in the series.
Book of the series is in
I might continue it, might I think?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want to roll your dice?
I'd like to roll them.
Give them a good roll.
Oh! 3.
3. That's...
Oh, thriller mystery. Ooh. Yeah. So if we take the lid off.
Take the lid.
That is what is inside. Lots of bits.
It's almost empty, look.
It is actually. We're getting there.
But we are going to, in December...
Yeah, going to go through the whole...
Going to empty all these out.
Yep.
And redo them because you've got more...
Yeah, and some of the books I haven't got anymore. Some of the books I've read.
Exactly.
So yeah, I agree.
So here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah, have a good rummage. Come on, you're making me wait. You're making me nervous.
So here we go. Whoa, don't look on the camera. So your book is Blood Sisters.
Oh, the bedroom.
And it's a thriller.
Oh, a thriller.
A thriller, Blood Sisters.
So that'll be on the bottom shelf. Actually, I'm going to go and find it. Oh, okay. I found it. That was a bit of a mission. I was like, I can't find it. So this is by Jane Corey. 3 little girls, 1 good, 1 bad, 1 dead. Oh my.
Oh.
Blood sisters with their coats hanging up, but one's missing.
Dun, dun,
Oh, look how old this is and
it's been
battered.
there a while.
Yeah, it has been there ages. Oh, the dust on it. And
it's good to get rid of it.
yeah, I got this from a charity shop years ago. So yeah, wouldn't have been picked like randomly. No. So as in I wouldn't have picked it myself. So, this is why TBR games are fun, because they pick books that I probably wouldn't have gone to. So there we go. That is the selection from the box game, the tins, books in tins. Okay, so now it's time for a brand new TBR game. So this box was very kindly given to me and made by my lovely friend Kelly. So thank you for that. It says Laura on it. It says Bookworm on it. And it also says Laura the Bookworm with books. So it's perfect. So I wanted to incorporate this box into a TBR game. So here's what's happening. Nathan, literally a few moments ago, went in to our bedroom.
Yeah.
He selected a book at random from my many books that I own. And I have no idea what's in here. Literally no clue. No idea.
No idea.
You won't give me any clues, any hints.
I'll give you one hint, and that's what room it's in.
Yeah, I know, it's from the bedroom, yeah.
We have got other bookcases,
yes.
Which some months I will pick from.
Oh, so you're going to go in other rooms?
There will be other.
Okay.
I'll tell you what room I'm picking from.
Okay, so this is from the bedroom, but that's all I know.
Yeah, that's
and
all
I have
know.
many books in there, so it could be anything.
And lots and lots of books.
Do you think I'll like this book?
I hope so. You brought it, so...
That is true.
You must have liked it at one point.
Okay, so I'm going to officially open it now.
Open it.
I'm either going to go, oh, yeah.
I'm scared.
Or,
It's like Pandora's box.
Okay. Minx's box. You better pick me a good one.
Oh, it's a very good one.
Oh, hold on. I'm trying to get it open.
Okay.
Oh, God. It's very difficult with one hand.
Do you want me to help?
I think I've got it. No, I haven't. Oh. Ah. Okay, right. What is inside? Oh, I can't even see the front of it.
Face down so you can't even see properly.
It's tag. You're dead. So this is quite a recent buy.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, Katherine Foxfield's Tag You're Dead. Yeah, Good Girls Die First I've read, and It's Behind You I've read. So yeah, that's a good choice.
So I didn't know if it was recent or not. So I just
it is a new one. It's only, I think, about a month or so, a couple of months ago. So yeah, recent buy. The first rule of the game, trust no one. So if you want to find out more about this book, you'll have to wait until my reading wrap up next month to see if I liked it or not. So yeah, okay, that was fun. Did you enjoy finding me a mystery book?
I did.
Are you up for doing it again next month?
Next month, I might not be so kind. Pick a big book.
No, don't pick a big book. This is a nice size. Not too big. Right, okay, that's that game. Okay, so it's now time for the Tbr Roulette. And here is the roulette. What is it called? The
wheel.
Wheel.
It's a wheel.
Roulette wheel.
It's a spinning wheel.
And here is the roulette table with lots of bits of paper on each number. And all these are books from our bedroom that are in big piles.
These are the ones that need to go.
They can't fit on the bookcase. They're in massive blooming piles. Yeah. So these are all quite new, actually.
Yeah.
Newish.
Well, some of them at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, but they've still been under a year.
That's where Bill Clinton is.
Oh, the Bill Clinton book.
Been there for
big
a long
hardback.
Yeah.
James Patterson, Bill
Is that
Clinton.
in this pile?
No.
You didn't write that one down?
No.
I think next time you should.
No, because it's a big book and it'll take me like a year to read.
That's the idea.
Told you, on Spin the Wheel, if we ever get Nathan chooses, then you can choose that book. How does that grab you?
Grabs me good.
Cool. Right.
Are you ready? So I'm going to spin the wheel.
You are.
Do you want me to put the ball in for you?
Yes, please. Spin it, baby. Ooh.
Here we go.
Whatever number it corresponds with will be the book that gets chosen.
Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Because it has stopped.
Oh, it stopped somewhere, but it's going so fast I can't see.
I can see it's number 8.
How can you see that's number 8?
Because I've got good eyes.
Yeah, not much for me. Oh yeah, number 8. Well done.
Which is this one here.
Okay. Oh God. All right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Or are you a little bit scared?
No, I'm a little bit scared, but I'm hoping it's not good.
What kind of book do you think it is?
I think it's going to be another romance.
A romance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, would your viewers like to see before you
I'd like to see.
Viewers.
Girl Crush.
Girl Crush.
Ooh, yeah, that's quite new. I only got that a few weeks ago.
Well, there you go.
Thank you very much.
That is your book.
Oh, wicked.
Roulette.
Yeah.
But what happens if you had dropped a ball in? Let's
Well,
see
what book I would have... But that is going to be the official...
That is the official. This is just for fun.
Girl Crush.
Here we go. Here's your ball.
Okay, I'm not very good at doing this.
Right, just drop it in. Ready? Go. What would you have got if you'd have done it? With your luck. Because your luck influences this.
Oh.
You would have got number 20, which is Steph.
What would that have been?
You would have got Mr. Perfect on Paper.
Oh, no!
If you'd have done it, you would have got that one.
That was a romance.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know what? Another TBR game. I'm not doing now, obviously, because we've already done this month. But another type card, you can get pack of cards.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like higher or lower on play cards, right? The show.
Yeah.
And you pick 2 books. One you really want to read.
One you don't.
One you don't. Well, you don't hate,
so
but you're not as fussed about.
Bill Clinton and your favourite book at the time.
That I'm after reading. And then you have to do higher and lower on that next card sort of thing. So say if you to do a king, would you go higher or lower?
Yeah.
Lower.
And if you lose...
If you lose, you have to read the forfeit book.
But if you win...
Well, neither of them are bad, but they're just one you don't want to read as much kind of thing.
So it would be Bill Clinton I chose.
But yeah, I saw that on Kit Kats Can Read's channel, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Wonderful.
But anyway, so there we go. Girl Crush is the book that's been chosen on the Tbr Roulette. Thank you very much. Okay, so with the power and the magic of editing, I'm back. Did you miss me? Probably not. Did you enjoy the TBR games though? I hope you did. They're really good fun. I love doing them every month. And it's a great way of, you know, selecting a book that I probably wouldn't have chose myself. So yeah, really good fun. Thank you to the lovely Nathan for participating as ever with my TBR games. Okay, so now I'm going to quickly tell you about my current reads. I have 1 audiobook I'm listening to and 2 physical copy books as well that I'm reading. So first of all, my audiobook that I'm listening to on Audible is called Young Blood and it's by Sacha Lawrence. So this is just great. I mean, it says here for fans of the Vampire Diaries, which I used to love that show. I never read the books, but I love the show. Basically, this is about a school for vampires. It has got LGBTQI plus theme as well. It's just really, really good. I'm really enjoying it, and I love anything with vampires and stuff. And yeah, the audio, whoever's doing this voice acting thing is brilliant because they sound so believable, and like the way they talk and the acting, and just, yeah, it's really good. I love a good vampire story, so I don't really want to know too much about it. All I know is it's set at a school for vampires. I'm listening to it. I'm enjoying it. Brilliant. So next up, the book that I'm reading from the library, which I haven't got long to read because it's got to go back, so I really need to up my game with this one. It's called The Fine Print and it's by Lauren Asher, and it is part of, well, it's the first in a series of spicy standalone novels featuring the 3 billionaire brothers. So you've got Rowan and Zara. This is really, really good, and honestly, I'm only a little bit in and already I'm just like hooked. Seriously, I'm literally hooked on this book. So I'll be honest with you, when I first saw it, I thought it was a fantasy because the whole kind of castle thing, but it's not. It's a contemporary romance, which, yeah, it doesn't really go with the theme of the cover. So Rowan is, so it says, I'm in the business of creating fairy tales, production companies, 5-star hotels, theme parks, everything can be mine if I renovate Dreamland. Hiring Zara was a great plan until I fell for her. By the time I realised where I went wrong, it was too late. People like me don't get happy endings, not when we're destined to ruin them. Then we have Zara. After submitting a drunk proposal criticising Dreamland's most expensive ride, I should have been fired. Instead, Rowan Kane offered me a dream job. The catch was I had to work for the most difficult boss I'd ever met. Rowan was rude and completely off limits, but my heart didn't care, at least not until I discovered his secret. Oh, what's his secret? It was time to teach the billionaire that money couldn't fix everything, especially not us. So, yeah, as I say, I'm hooked already. And also what I really love about this book, there's a playlist. So there's all these like songs that you can listen to, like which feature in the book or you know, make you think of that scene of the book. I love things like that in books. And I do notice there's an ABBA song here, so it's all good. Take a chance on me. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. And yeah, and the other book that I started is the Whisperling, and it's by Hayley Hoskins. I wonder if she's a relation to Bob Hoskins, the actor. I don't know, probably not. But yeah, this is a middle grade. I'd not heard of it. I just saw it in Waterstones, fell in love with the cover. There's even a little tea shop there, and I just picked it up. And then I saw Ghosties up the top as well. So yeah, this is about a young girl who's a psychic, and so yeah, she's a psychic. She can speak to ghosts, and her best friend basically gets accused of murdering someone, and she's out to kind of prove her innocence for her friend. And there's lots of ghosts, and yeah. And yeah, it's really cute. It's really good. I love anything with like psychics and ghosts. Oh, brilliant. So yeah, it's like a Victorian middle grade spooky read, which I'm very much enjoying. So there we go, everyone. Thank you for watching. Lots of love to you all. Please click like, comment, share, subscribe, and also check out my other channel, Minxlaura123 ASMR. The link's down below, and all my social media links down below. Go check them out. Come follow me. And I've got Goodreads if you want to follow me on there. And if you do want to spoil me and treat me, I do have a Throne wish list as well, which of course the link is down below. So happy reading. Take care of yourselves. Let me know in the comments, as I say, what book you're currently reading. And yeah, it'd be great to see you in the next video. I do this every month, by the way, if you're new here. I do reading, monthly reading wrap up every month. And I also do like book hauls and stuff, read with me. So yeah, fellow book people, subscribe, and then you can watch booky videos. All right, well, take care. Bye.